Hello, Leo. Welcome to your weekly reading here on Dove and Serpent Tarot. My name is Paul. If you're watching this reading was meant to find you. Please hit the like button, leave a comment, consider subscribing to the channel, especially if this reading resonates with you. Now, this is a general reading, so try to be open and receptive to whatever may come through during our time together. I am merely the messenger, and I ask you to connect directly with each of these cards and use your own intuition to take you beyond the details that I provide. And remember, Leo, that the most important part of any tarot reading is you. And we start with the Queen of Wands. I feel like you're somebody who is very ambitious. This is kind of a Sagittarius energy, okay? And I feel that you have this intense sort of arc to your work, to what you do. There's the beginning period, I think, which is very active and very enthusiastic, right? Where you are excited and you're ready to go and you can't wait to wake up in the morning and go do it. And then there's the middle period where it's just we get into the routine and it's very consistent and the days go by very quickly. I feel like we're sort of at the end of that cycle, of that arc now. And we're wrapping something up and we're sort of ready for something to be over. Okay? We're ready to kind of get to the finish line already, put the bow on it, ship it onto the next thing. Okay? And I feel like this is kind of the way that your energy levels flow. At the beginning, it's very active, then it's very steady, and then it's sort of, okay, let's bring this thing home. Let's set her down for a smooth landing. Yeah. So we need some context around this card. I feel like this is kind of your energy that says, I'm ready for something to be over. I'm ready to finish this thing and get ready for the next thing. Okay. So let's see what else is going on here. Let's put some more cards out. Now we have a Princess of Pentacles. It's kind of like the Queen has found a new princess here. In other words, I think that you already have your sights set on what's coming next. I think that you're ready to sort of finish this current phase of your life, this current cycle, this current endeavor or project or work, this current era of your life, right? I think you're ready to realize the rewards, to finish that project or whatever it is, And I feel like the princess here is basically saying we're going to put the finishing touches on it. We're ready for it to sort of, we're ready for our active work to be done. And then we're ready to see this thing grow and see what it does on its own. You know what I mean? Like a piece of music that you're writing, you're rehearsing, you're recording the music, you've got the album. Now it's ship the album, see how it does, see how it's received, see what becomes of it. Okay? Because I think you are ready kind of for the next phase of things. Maybe not the next project, but the next development of something. It's kind of like then you have the album, okay, now you've got to go tour the album, right? Let's keep going. Princess of Pentacles. The High Priestess. 5 of Cups. There is your Leo superpower card. That is a fixed fire energy, the Prince of Wands. This represents that fixed fire energy of the Leo zodiac sign, okay? And then we've got that Devil energy. Yeah, you're ready, I think very ready to move on to what's coming next. And it could be that what's coming next is when the real work starts, But I think that you're sort of ready now. Like you've done the routine work, you're ready to finish things up and finally get something done. And then either moving on to the next project or the next phase of this current project. Okay, I definitely see this transition happening. If there is anything you would like me to pray over or meditate upon or send positive energy toward, please let me know. Yeah. I feel that you're sort of a little bit impatient at the moment. Yeah. Let's put the rest of our cards out on the table. 2 of Wands. We've got the Universe card, and here we have the Empress and the Hierophant. Very, very good. Very, very good. The reason the Empress is in this position, I think, for one, the first thing that comes to my mind is that we don't want to get too comfortable. We don't want to get that sense of comfort where we sort of lose our devil, right? We lose our engine. We lose our driving force. Yeah. I think your whole life is changing from this point. I think whatever you've planted, this is fire and earth, right? This is an act of creation. Whatever you are creating, I think, is bringing you a lot of recognition, a lot of success, prosperity. Honestly, this is that fortune and fame that we keep talking about. And I think really the world, the Empress, the Hierophant, yeah, this is going to be really, really good. Let's select our mystery card, bonus card, confirmation card. This is a random card from the Smith-Waite Tarot. This is the factor, infinite and unknown. We'll set it down right here, and it's our little sea turtle friend as the guardian of the mystery card. Now, we're not going to look at that card until the end. It will tie everything together and give us the confirmation that we need. If you have a prediction for that card, you could leave it in the comments. Let's try to do it together, right? I see this growing intuition in you here. I think it'd be a good idea to exercise that intuition. But looking around the room, we've got a lot of major arcana. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 major arcana. And a lot of fire. 1, 2, 3 fire cards. A little bit of water. 0 air, because you're relying heavily on intuition. And of course, we have our earth energy right here in the middle. We've got a little bit of earth here and a little bit of earth here as well. And really a little bit of water in the Empress card. It's sort of a Venus energy, and to me it sort of represents not a correction necessarily, but a transcendence, an elevating of this 5 of Cups into an Empress. And it's kind of saying, like, you're about to get real happy, but you're kind of nervous about it, you know. And I apologize for my voice. I've been struggling with voice issues for a little while here, but things will be all right. Let's start with the Princess, okay, because I feel that this is sort of the baby, right? This is the project. This is the garden that you've been tending diligently from beginning to end. You've been there, toiling, doing the work, right? And we're ready now for this thing to bear fruit. You've been working all winter. You're ready for the spring. You're ready for the verdant energy to return, to grow out of this thing. And I think it's very good we don't have any air cards, because the air cards would come into things and they'd be looking at this and thinking, you did all that work, but there's nothing to show for it. It's empty. It's barren, sterile, right? It didn't work. You know better. Because, and this is fascinating to me, because the Princess of Pentacles, if it's the right soil, if it's the right effort we put into it, this card has the potential to transform magically before your very eyes into the Empress. Okay? And this is extraordinary. And I always say that because this is the dead of winter. This is a barren, sterile, harsh, empty landscape. There's no life here. Why are you building? Why are you working? Why are you planting your crops here? This is the wrong place, right? Everybody may have told you back in the day. And maybe you even had those worries yourself. But they're not here now. Because now you understand, you know, this was the right thing to do. Because this is going to grow and blossom into this paradise of this Empress card. It is, all this verdant energy is under the surface, and it's about to spring forth and blossom and transform into that Empress. And you got that Empress card. Not only that, Leo, but you also have the High Priestess. The High Priestess is that divine message, the intuition or instinct or the conscience or the higher mind or the divine revelation, whatever you want to call it, whatever you believe in, right? This is that message from that unknown place. The High Priestess is card number 2. What's right behind the High Priestess? Card number 3, which is your Empress card. Card number 2, card number 3. Okay. So it is that Empress that has been showing you the way. That divine wisdom. Showing you the way to your paradise, to your best life, the good life, the big rock candy mountain, the garden, right? Showing you, telling you, and I think displacing the swords cards. Telling you, this is it. This is where you put your energy. This is where you plant your seeds. This is where you grow your grapes. And it's paying off. Through your hard work and effort, through your blood, sweat, and tears, it's paying off. Okay? So the High Priestess then is this reliance that you have on your intuition, knowing that your life is being guided. Okay? So we can not interfere with that process with the swords cards, with the mind that is saying, yeah, well, but I don't. You got the swords cards out of there, right? And this is how you'll succeed, by following that divine wisdom, whatever you want to call it, showing you, reinforcing you, telling you that this is the place for you to dig, for you to build your life, for you to plant your seeds. This is the thing that's right for you, this situation. And that High Priestess is telling you that. Your intuition is guiding you here. So follow that. Now, 5 of Cups as yesterday's energy, or as a behind-the-scenes kind of energy, it's disappointment. Well, I think that when this current endeavor began for you, I think that you were coming off of a sort of a not so good run. I think you've tried certain things in certain places and it didn't work. You've planted your seeds in other places, didn't grow. Tried to grow your grapes here or there or anywhere, and it didn't work. It's a disappointment, right? But it didn't discourage you. It didn't lead to a bunch of swords cards. It didn't lead to a bunch of doubt, a bunch of worry, a bunch of stress. It feels like it sort of strengthened your resolve. Okay. And this really could be at the beginning of this particular thing, because we sort of have the beginning, the middle, and now with our mutable fire energy, we're sort of ready for this to wind down, and we're ready for everything now. It was like you've done your part. Now you just have to let the plants grow, and you have to do, I think, all the work that comes after. It's like now the grapes are grown, you can harvest them. You're ready to sort of move on to the next chain of events, okay? The next activities in that supply chain kind of deal. But maybe when you first started this, maybe you were still sort of reeling from this disappointment and thinking that maybe there wasn't a tremendous confidence at the very beginning. But I think it built up. And I think the more you follow your intuition, all the tears that you've shed, that's it. It's almost like you sort of woke up one day and you said, that's enough. I'm not going to cry over spilled milk. I'm done with the sadness, with the woe is me, with the self-pity. Nah, we don't need that. Okay, this is behind you. This is yesterday's news. This could be a very specific thing that happened, okay? But I feel like replacing this with this fire energy and this intuition and this new project that you've been involved with, which, and again, I think you're sort of, it was an arc, and I think we're coming down to the landing of it now, okay? I think replacing that 5 of Cups with all of this activity is really the right move, because we could linger here in this, we could wallow, right, in our woe. And I think we wouldn't really get anywhere. We wouldn't be making progress. We wouldn't be getting closer to our big rock candy mountain, our Empress energy, if we linger here. So I think that you sort of replaced this with that intuition guiding you to the right place and putting in work. You replace the woe with work. Yeah. Just takes a couple letters, I guess. And you replace the E, right, in woe with an R and a K. R is the sun, and the K is the wheel of fortune. So a little bit of confidence and a little bit of luck. And you've overcome that period of disappointment, which is a 5. It could have been worse. Could have been a 7, 8, of cups. It could have turned into a, 7, 8, 9, 10 of swords too. But it didn't. Kind of said, all right, you know what? I can be sad about something, but time to move on. So you did that, and you're here, and you're about to reap the rewards, right? I think this is changing your whole life. Here is your Leo power energy. This is your confidence, and it's right at the top of the page here. Right? And I think that you're in this period now, this period of steady routine, kind of going through the motions, doing the thing, showing up every day, very consistent. This is that middle period, right? The takeoff is sort of very fun, right? But it's over quickly, and then there's the middle period of just cruising, and now it's time for the landing. Okay, so you're in this middle period now, but I think we're getting ready for the landing of something. Okay. I also feel that you're very forgiving, and part of your strength is the ability to forgive. To forgive and let go, mainly for yourself, right? And I think the 5 of Cups in the background here is sort of indicating that about you. You know how to forgive. You know the value of forgiveness and moving on. Doesn't mean you're going to be best friends, but it's just like, okay, I'm done. I don't need to expend any energy on that anymore. It is what it is, kind of thing. And so you have this, I think, a very stable and sturdy confidence. You have a vitality about you. It feels like you're in the prime of your life, though maybe you're old like me, or older, but it feels as if you've never felt better. You've never been in better shape. You've never had this much energy. You've never been this fired up about something. And now it's like we're kind of chomping at the bit. We're ready for, let's land this thing so I can get out and do what's next, the next phase of this life. And so what I see coming next for you is this devil energy. Seems like even more work, all right? The first thing that comes to mind, of course, is the devil is in the details, okay? And so I think that we do need a little bit of air energy here, because we need to have some direction. We need to be able to really sort of figure out in real time what to do, okay? So in the next phase of your life, the next week or so, let's say, the next couple of weeks, it's very important that you realize that bringing this thing in for a landing and starting the next phase of things is going to require some planning, organization, and real-time, in-the-moment decision-making. Okay? And we need that here. We need a little, I'm hoping the mystery card's air energy. I got to be honest with you. Okay? We need a little bit of it. I think an ace or a 2 of swords would be perfect. This is the engine of the car. Okay? This is the engine of the engine of the airplane. And it's a lot of power. It's your ability to, okay, we're coming down the mountain here. Let's figure out what we need to do, and let's climb the next mountain. Whether it's the same project or it's kind of a different phase of things, it's all part of the same life, We're ready to climb the next mountain, the next hurdle. We're ready for the next challenge. We got to make sure it's the right one. We got to make sure that we have a plan for it. We don't want to be driving around in circles in the car. We've got to have a bit of a plan of where we're going to go and how it needs to be done. But we also need the ability to course correct in real time, because there will be variables. Okay, there will be variables. You thought it was going to be 100, but you only got 50. Okay, well, now I got to adapt to 50. What do I do with the 50? How do I handle that? And that really, that ability is your Two of Wands over here in your general energy. Now, if you haven't subscribed to the channel yet, go ahead and do that now. Smash the like button, subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I really appreciate that. Your Two of Wands is that general energy, the ability to sort of grab the reins and say this way or this way, depending on what the situation calls for. We still need a little bit of air energy, and I'm not gonna go back on that. But this is at least your power to be able to, this is the muscles of your arms and the ability to steer the car. Okay? So we may not have a plan yet of exactly what the next thing is or what the next leg of the journey is or the next phase of the work. But we know that as we are driving forward, we will be able to course correct and adapt to contingencies and variables that are inevitably going to happen. Okay? And when they do, we're not falling back into a Five of Cups. Oh, I only got 50. I was supposed to get 100. Oh, that's terrible. Oh, I don't know what to do. I'm just going to cry and feel sorry for myself for a day or two. No. We're saying, okay, I got 50 instead of 100. We need to change course. We need to go a little bit this way or this way. We're just dealing with it in real time. The logistics of it, you know. And I think that this is exactly what we need right now. We have to be able to bring this plane down safely. And what if an engine goes out? What if the lights on the runway go out? What if there's a sudden storm? You know, what if you suddenly start sneezing? You know, I don't know. These things can happen, right? We've got to be confident. We've got to be ready. We've got to be holding tight to our controls so we can do it safely and we can get on the ground and we can unload our cargo and we can, you know, start the next phase of things. So the Two of Wands is very, very important. And I think that it is your general energy now. You are focused. You are in the moment. I think you're up early. I think you go to bed late. I think 5 o'clock in the morning, you're up, you're ready to go. And I think that a lot of the way you order and structure your life is based on practical needs. You know, why do you wake up at 5 in the morning? Well, because you got to shower, you got to eat, you got to take care of the animals, you got to take care of the kids, you got to get ready for this and that. Then you got to be somewhere at a certain time, or you got to start working at a certain time, or whatever it is. Okay, there's a practical need for it. I think right now you're in a very practical energy. I think that is part of our world, part of our universe card in the environment. Now, this card, we could talk about this card for another half an hour. It's in the position of your relationships. There's this concern that you're getting distant from some of your relationships. Okay? You got to tighten that up. You got to bring those people closer to you. Okay? Because this is a very expansive card. But it's not expansive in the way, let's say, a Wheel of Fortune would be expansive, right? This is, or really in the organic sort of growth that we see of the Empress. Because this card is an expanding universe. And as the vacuum of space expands, the distance between objects grows greater. So as your life evolves and grows, as time goes on, we start to drift away from everybody. And then we could have this experience of a cold, vast, empty, indifferent universe. And that's not what we want, right? We're trying to grow a life here that is full, that is prosperous and warm and loving and friendly and supportive, not indifferent and not cold and not empty and lonely. So we are, we're trying to strengthen these relationships as we can. Okay, this is your world. Now, what we're really trying to do is grow that world with this Empress energy. We want a life that is full and rich and beautiful and feels good and is abundant and has a lot of flavors, right? So we're trying to transform our world here, our Princess of Pentacles, into an Empress. But at the same time, you're someone that doesn't overly indulge in the pleasures of life, right? You sort of, in this context, you like your world to be sort of ordered and stoic and almost sparse. I almost feel that there is a certain austerity in the way you live. I feel that you're someone who knows what it's like to not have anything, that you've been there, and you know that maybe we operate more efficiently when we don't have all these extras, all these indulgences. It's like, I'm not going to wear the fancy clothes, because I need to move around. I need to be comfortable. It's a practical thing. It's very pragmatic. But it could be cold and indifferent. Okay. And so the Empress, I think, is here in part to remind us that we need a little bit of that luxury, that we can work hard. We don't have to be extravagant and overindulge, but you deserve to have a little self-care. You deserve to have intimate relationships that are supportive of your work, of your efforts in whatever you're doing. You deserve to have like a really nice cup of coffee, right? You deserve to have a really comfortable bed to sleep in. Yeah. I think the concern really between, and that's why the Empress is in the position of the obstacle here, or really what you don't want in a certain sense, because you feel that by being too nice to yourself, you're going to grow soft, and then you're not going to be able to really work hard in this way. I feel like you do something outdoors even, And too much luxury is going to spoil us, and then we're not going to be willing to work hard, right? But it's sort of the two extremes. Yeah. The extremes of the sparse, empty, cold, sterile, indifferent, distance, the kind of lonely existence, versus the other extreme, which is, you've got, 2,000 count bed sheets and 1,000,000 pillows on the bed, and you drink nothing but the fanciest of spring water from wherever you get fancy spring water. I don't even know. And there's nothing wrong with those things. But I think you're looking for that balance. You want to work hard, but you also want the rewards. You want the luxuries of life too. But I think sometimes we get, I don't know if we consciously avoid that, or if it just sort of happens where I don't have time for that. I'm working. I can't wear a fancy tuxedo because I'm working outside in the dirt. I need jeans and short sleeve shirt or something. And that's really, I think, the contrast between these two, and even between these two as well. I think your life is changing now. I think that these rewards are coming in, and you may have a little reluctance to truly accept them. Accept the self-care, accept the luxury, accept the blessings and the miracles of life. Accept those creature comforts. Accept the luxuries that your work is offering you or allowing you to have. You don't need to go overboard, right? You don't need to get soft and then just sort of get lazy and not want to work anymore, But you deserve to reap the rewards of what you're doing. But I think you're somebody that you want the rewards, yes, but the real reward is in the work itself, is in flying the plane, takeoff, cruising, and landing the plane. And you get the paycheck at the end of the week. Yeah, that's great. And you can buy the fancy coffee and take care of your obligations and pay your bills and watch a little TV at the end of the night, watch some YouTube in the morning, wink, wink. But you like being involved, you like the activity. Of course, we all need the self-care. You've got to let this life take care of you a little bit, okay? You need to be able to take a really long, hot shower or bath once in a while. You need to be able to unwind at the end of the day, watch a little more YouTube or read a book, and just unwind and disconnect. Let somebody else tell the story, for a few minutes as you drift off to sleep, right? Because I think your life is becoming one where, rather than having less responsibilities and less work to do, we all think that as we become successful, life gets easier or slows down, or there's less responsibility or there's less work to do. No, the more successful you get, the more work there is. Okay? And I think our Hierophant is a very accurate description of that. Because the outcome of all of this energy is really you reaching a level of expertise in life that is, this is someone who has kind of figured things out. You know the hard work. You understand the phases: takeoff, cruising, and landing. You understand how to balance the hard work and then the rewards, or the sort of the austere, practical, and pragmatic conditions of life and the luxuries of it too. You can work hard and then you can also reward yourself. And the Hierophant to me feels like someone who has reached a level of expertise, someone that has figured out that flow and that routine of life. But I think this is also your driving energy in a way that there is perhaps this driving force. You want to be good at everything. You are your own rabbit hole, And I think that one thing that you do, one flight from takeoff, cruising, and landing, then sort of it inspires you to something else, and something else, and something else. And so I feel like you're branching out. And yes, your world is expanding, expanding, expanding. Because it seems like every month, or every 6 months, or every year, you've got a new sort of obsession. And that's part of our devil energy too. You got this new obsession, and you want to learn it. You want to read about it, get involved, figure it out, and you want to accomplish something. It's kind of an entrepreneur kind of energy. It feels like somebody that really wants to know how to do a lot of things. And I think that you are rather a Renaissance person. Yeah. I think that you're pursuing a lot of different things. They're sort of all tied together, right? But there are a lot of deep rabbit holes. And it may be one at a time, right? And you're sort of setting something up, whether it's a business or a skill or whatever. I think you do that a lot. And I think that this is how you roll. And I think that, I think a lot of people are going to start, if they don't already, start asking you, how do you do it? Yeah. How do you decide what comes next? How do you figure out what where do you get that? So where do you get your energy from? Where do you get this vitality from? And then how do you sort of pick what comes next and which rabbit holes to go down? Because this really is like the most interesting person in the world, And I really feel that it comes from spirit, it comes from your intuition, that sort of you realize everything is connected together and the light just sort of draws you in a particular direction. It may be a word or a phrase that somebody says, and it's like, oh yeah, well I know what I'm doing next week, And so I think that you're really becoming that sort of, you're not so specialized that you're just an absolute expert in one thing. I feel that you're sort of expert in a lot of things. Okay? And maybe not expert as in best in the world, But you are satisfying your curiosity and your interest in a lot of different things. And you're getting really good at a lot of different things. And I think that is really building up your life into something extraordinary. Let's look at the mystery card. Okay. Like I said, I wanted a little bit of swords energy. I wanted a 6 of swords, plan. An ace or a 2 of swords would be okay too. If you have a prediction, Put it in the comments. Let's see what we have. Ace of Cups. Well, this is the next rabbit hole. This is the next obsession. This is the next love. It's like you finish this project here, and you're falling in love with another idea. And you're saying, okay, well, I guess next week we're going over here and we're doing this thing, you know. And I feel like this is really a happy life. This is an inspired life. And I love this. And I think the Ace of Cups is really the perfect confirmation card. We still don't have any swords, but maybe that's okay. Maybe you don't really need the plan. Maybe that's something that's, you don't need to worry about that. The swords cards are here. They're just not popping up from under the surface to give us an image. The swords cards are here. They're just sort of in the background. They're absorbed into the table. And that's fine, because the way I look at it is, in any tarot reading, all of the cards are here. In fact, all the cards are here. So there's swords cards here. Spirit's just not telling us we need to look at them. Because I think you have that part already. It's already fine, right? There's no need to sort of talk about that, right? What we need to talk about is this energy, and particularly allowing yourself to feel good about what you do, and to reward yourself, and to feel proud, and to let this work heal you, give yourself the rest that you need, to continue going on in this way. You're creating a life. This is really that paradise life. You're creating a life that feeds you. You feed it, it feeds you. And it's continuing to grow in this very organic way, which is better than having the swords cards, right? Because Spirit, if we had some swords, it'd probably be Spirit's way of saying, you have too much of a plan. You got to let this thing grow organically, not artificially. And I think you're growing your life, in this very organic way, where everything's connected, but the branches just sort of, they grow where they need to grow. The roots where they need to grow. Yeah. And this is what's coming next, Ace of Cups. Beautiful energy. We're going to do an extended reading too, if you want to stick around. There's a link up top. There's a link down below. New readings for Leo on Tuesdays and Saturdays. Be sure to watch both readings. If you haven't subscribed yet, please do. It is free, right? Leave a comment. Let me know where in the world you're watching from. I want you to know that you're the most important part of Dove and Serpent Tarot. I thank you, and I love you, and we're all in this together.